All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Another stream, UK 1 p.m. You know it. You know where to be. The other side of the coin is the place to be. I'm very close to 4,000 subscribers as well. So help me get there ASAP, which will be fantastic. We're going to talk about Champions League. It's the Champions League flavor that's going around. I think it's going to be interesting to talk a little bit more about that until tomorrow. It all sort of switches into gear with the whole Man City FA Cup fixture and whatnot. But before we get into all of that, Taron and Arvind are here. We had a fantastic conversation last time when we did a preview a few streams back. I think the chemistry was really good. But first of all, Taron, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm actually good. Apart from my haircut, I'm actually quite good, having a good day. Happy to be on with obviously Arvind and you, Miz. It was a good stream we did last time. Yeah, I'm excited to be me and you, the only people here who've gone through to the semi-finals. So yeah, not too much on the wounds. Let's get into it.
First of all, kudos to the haircut. It's a bit crazy. It's a bit mad. You got the skin fade. Show me the skin fade, but you got to show me the skin fade on the side. Oh yeah, all right, ladies, look out. But the second thing is just a bit of heads up for the people that have joined in. Kudos to the people that have joined in. Honestly, thank you so much once again for showing the support, and the people that are going to join throughout the stream, and we'll see down the whole plan for today's show was I wanted to get a Bayern Munich fan, which is obviously Arvind. I wanted to get a Dortmund fan, but they're busy with work, and I wanted to get a Liverpool fan and basically get all the clubs that got eliminated from the Champions League. And Taron and I, the only club that's still in the Champions League, really wanted to give it to them, but we're gonna have to just smash Arvind in this particular stream, and then he's gonna have to cop it from everyone. But Arvind, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, obviously gutted about Bayern, losing. I don't know what to say about that, to be honest. I mean, congrats to Chelsea to making it through, and they have a huge chance to get into the final. Obviously, PSG against City, and then Chelsea against Real Madrid. It's looking to be some juicy ties coming around.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to talk about today is obviously the two ties that are now drawn up in the semi-finals, Chelsea versus Real Madrid and PSG versus Manchester City. But before all of that, we also want to talk about from Arvind, obviously, get some opposition analysis a little bit done. Bayern Munich, they face PSG. So we want to know, what we can sort of possibly, see from PSG if we were to see them in the final, if we go through Real Madrid, that is obviously. And then, we want to also talk about a little bit about, Real Madrid, how their performance was against Liverpool, what we think about our chances against them. And ultimately, basically get to the point that can we actually win the Champions League? Everyone's talking about Taron's haircut today, man. This is, you know what's going to happen. The whole show is going to be about Taron's haircut. Taron, you might as well just wear a beanie or something, bro. Honestly, just leave it, bro. Leave it. But yeah, let's get straight into this. I think let's talk about the Bayern Munich game, because I didn't get to watch too much of that because I was too much focused about the Chelsea game, so I didn't really get to watch that. But overall consensus that I felt was that Bayern had a lot of chances to pull PSG away, but at the same time, PSG held their own as well. It wasn't as if they gave up or anything. They played pretty well to ensure they got that victory and they went through to the semi-finals. But I mean, from your perspective, obviously Bayern Munich, they had quite a few injuries, no Lewandowski, a few other players that weren't available. But what do you think about PSG? Are they a genuine shot? Are they a genuine contender for the Champions League this season?
Not necessarily a shock, to be honest, because they got to the Champions League final last season. With the same players, majority of the same players they have this season. With the likes of Neymar, Mbappe, Di Maria. Draxler coming to the fore, under Pochettino, he's been given opportunities and he played really well against us. So, yeah, Leandro Paredes in midfield, he was excellent, suspended for the first leg. But, Yeah, in terms of PSG, when I was watching them, it was just pure knockout football, really. Sitting back, hitting us on a break, continuously. And I was in the second leg, especially, I was scared for my life because every time Neymar went forward, Neymar was superb in that game.
Yeah.
He looked at another level. He wasn't doing the usual, rolling around and crying around. He was actually taking the game to us. I was like, wow, this is the first time I've seen Neymar really do that since he was at Barcelona with Messi and Suarez, the front three there. So, I think this season there's a bit of a different element to PSG. I think this season they're actually willing to Neymar, most of the time Neymar and Mbappe would usually be the only players, the only individuals that PSG would rely on. Okay, we're going to pass you the ball every single time. You're going to make something happen. No, it's been a proper team performance from PSG this time, where especially with the back four, coming from the back four with, even Marquinhos, obviously, he was out for the second leg injured, but even Danilo Pereira dropping in, and then Kimpembe, they started calling Dagba at the right, and I know he's not that experienced, but he's still putting a solid shift. And then at left back they also have a few issues because Bernat's out for the season, and then they have the midfielder in Idrissa Gana Gueye, who is formerly of Everton, but he played like he's been at the highest stage for ages. He was covering.
There's been some big praise about Idrissa Gueye. Like, he apparently had a very good game.
Yeah, he had he was covering everything in the midfield. He was just everywhere, to be honest. And yeah, I think this season PSG, even last season as well, I think they realised that they have started to finally come to the top and matching with the likes of Bayern, Barcelona's, Real Madrid's. So I think that you can put them up there now because especially with the team performances, it's not like individualists with just the Neymars and the Mbappes. You can look at the whole team and say they all put in a joint effort to beat Bayern. And if you look at the run they've had as well, they had to get through a tough group with Leipzig and Man United.
Yeah.
They had to then play Barcelona. Obviously, people say Barcelona not that good. They still have Messi on their side. So especially in the second leg, Barcelona showed a real threat. And then they had to play Bayern Munich in the quarterfinal. And regardless of the injuries, Bayern Munich is still a world-class team, and they got through. So, credit to them, man. Credit to them.
Do you reckon Poch's, the presence is giving them a different sort of belief? Obviously, they had Tuchel. We've got Tuchel now, and we're doing madness with Thomas Tuchel. But do you feel it's a different feeling over there at the moment with Pochettino?
100%. I was watching an interview with Rio Ferdinand and Pochettino. I watched that interview and I was like, he said that everything's really collective now. And before, you had your Neymars and Mbappes, your big egos in the side, that they were causing trouble in between Tuchel and, Unai Emery as well before that. So, he's really talked about a collectiveness within their team that I've never heard about, but, I've never associated with a PSG before. And especially last season, where I think last season was a huge barrier of, coming through the round of 16, which, they had never done apart from maybe one season at one stage, So it was a huge barrier for them. But I feel like now, they could really, look towards properly being consistently in the semi-finals. They got Neymar soon to tie down to 2027. That's going to be huge. Mbappe is looking likely to sign a deal, so it's looking good for PSG.
No, for sure. We're going to talk a lot more about PSG down the track. But Taron, let's talk a little bit about the Dortmund-Man City game. I feel like Dortmund, they almost had City, my man. They really did. If it wasn't for Phil Foden madness, and I think Phil Foden was probably the man of the series in that particular matchup, and we'll talk a little bit about Phil Foden because for me, this guy has gone to a different level. When we're talking about English youngsters, I think Phil Foden is up and above everyone else at the moment. But I don't know, man, Taron, what do you think about City? I know they've got the quality, they've got everything that you need to win a particular competition like Champions League, but I feel like Dortmund showed enough in the sense that obviously PSG is going to play Man City in the semi-final. I feel like maybe PSG probably get their number. What do you think?
Well, I think Dortmund honestly could have won that game, apart from a few decisions and a few defensive lapses of concentration.
But the referee had a madness as well.
Yeah, the Bellingham goal, 100% should not have been disallowed. Like, there's no way on earth that was anywhere near a foul. It was not a foul. It should have been a goal. And that goal could have ultimately sent Dortmund through to the next round. 2 away goals could have been enough to carry them through at the Signal Iduna Park. Also, the handball decision for Emre Can, I'd say maybe it could have been seen as not a handball. It came off his head, then onto his arm. It was an unnatural body position. But them decisions, I think Dortmund's defence was the main reason that that Man City got the win with Emery, Shannon, Hummels. I don't think Torsic has a very good defensive structure at Dortmund at the minute. Obviously, they lost Achraf Hakimi. Guerrero's been out for quite a long time, I think. Obviously, Marvin Hitz has come back in goal. Roman Berkey's been dropped to the bench. So Man City definitely are there for the taking in the Champions League. I feel like Ruben Diaz, without Ruben Diaz in that team, then I feel like they could struggle a lot. We saw against Leeds at the weekend when they had John Stones and Ake at centre-back. Dallas just got through them twice. He's cut open the defence and got the goal. Diaz actually is a very good defender, but he can be exploited at times. You saw Haaland and Royce's goal. Royce's goal at the Etihad Stadium. Diaz was completely quiet out of position. Royce got in and scored the goal. Haaland actually got past Diaz a few times over the two legs. I do think City are there for the taking. Like I said, Dortmund could have easily won that game. And you could arguably say Dortmund are probably the weakest team left in the competition with their current manager. Porto, you could say, but Porto actually put up quite a good fight, I'd say, in the first and second legs. But yeah, Dortmund definitely gave City a good game. It's promising signs. Obviously, people are saying Man City could easily win it. Their defence is the main part of their game, 100%. Their defence has not leaked many goals this season. Rodri is a main enforcer in that team. He lets the attacking players express themselves. Foden and De Bruyne can interchange freely. Mahrez can do what he wants in that team. And yeah, but Man City are there for the taking, I feel like. You just need to be on your attacking game. Don't make any defensive errors and don't let the referee make any questionable decisions. But yeah, I do feel like they're there for the taking.
Nah, for sure. Flyers, thank you for joining. Did you guys actually watch the game? As although Dortmund scored first, I felt City dominated the game. Look, I'm going to be honest to you Flyers. I watched the first leg. That's the match that I watched. In the second leg, I didn't get to watch that. I was more focusing on the Liverpool versus Real Madrid game. But I think what I'm trying to say in this particular matchup that Dortmund had with City is, yes, City are always going to dominate with the ball. You cannot beat City with the dominance of the ball. But I felt like Dortmund, whenever they had that sniff, they really, especially in the first leg, I'm sure you probably would have seen it, Flyers. I watched that first leg. Dortmund defended well enough. It wasn't as if City was absolutely carving them up left, right, and center. If it wasn't for Foden right at the end, I think it probably should have been a Dortmund 2-1 victory because Dortmund had a couple of opportunities that that Bellingham should have been a goal, number one. That was a clear goal. And then obviously they scored the equalizer. And then Haaland had that one-on-one opportunity with Diaz and he bumped Diaz off and had that shot gone in. So besides that, it wasn't as if City was going out there and absolutely ripping things apart. I didn't get to watch the second half. The boys probably learned a little bit more. But I'm more trying to say that in recent times, City against Leeds, boys, we've seen Leeds, a 10-man Leeds beat them in the counter-attack. Man United recently has beaten Man City. So, that run that City had, that what was it, 21, 22 games winning streak, something like that they had. Obviously, that wasn't going to last all day long, and there could be some chinks in the armor that we can exploit. I'm glad that we're playing them this weekend because I'm confident that in the FA Cup that we could do them a trick. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But against PSG and City, just quickly, Arvind, PSG City, how do you see this weighing up? Do you feel like Neymar and Mbappe and them as a unit, obviously City as a unit is glamorous, but do you feel like those two might just have a little bit more juice in front of, City?
Obviously PSG, me personally, I think PSG will probably go through in the sense that PSG an improved version of Dortmund in the way they play. I saw the first leg, Dortmund, when they piled on the pressure, when they were counter-attacking their pace, especially in the first leg as well, they were, at some parts they were all over City. And I was actually stunned by the way Dortmund were playing because in the Bundesliga, there's a totally different contrast. But with PSG, with Neymar and Mbappe especially, playing as a unit, playing as a team, but they've got the six behind the ball, they don't really tend to go forward, like we saw in the Bayern game. I think they would have quite a bit because we obviously associate City, with possession play, with a high line, with what they do. But when they win the ball back, when they lose the ball and then they have 7 seconds, there's this rule that Pep Guardiola has about 7 seconds about
win it back in 7 seconds.
7 second rule about pressing everyone. If you don't win the ball back, you get back into position. But that's where PSG can really hurt Man City because when they're putting all that pressure on, they leave spaces in behind for the likes of Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria, and you have to be careful. Pep Guardiola over the years that I've seen at Bayern Munich as well. It was a little bit frustrating because all he did was pile men forward, and he always left space for the counter attack. And You know, during the 3 years that he had at Bayern, he never scored an away goal in the first leg when we were away each time to the Spanish opposition. Could that potentially bite Pep Guardiola at Manchester City? I'm not too sure. I think they're always a threat going forward. They are probably likely to score, but especially given that PSG's counter-attacking play, I just think, with City's men, the way they pile their men forward, I just think, it'll be too much, especially on the counter.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. City better be awake in that particular game, because I've seen the way PSG demolished Barcelona in the first leg. The way they countered was phenomenal. And I'm not saying that, City's in Barcelona level, they're far ahead of Barcelona at the moment as a team. But no one should disregard the way PSG counters, man. And no defense in the world at the moment can keep that away. I'm telling you right now. Mbappe and Neymar and Angel Di Maria, well, good luck to that. Just quickly, I want to bring this up because this news has gone around. Off topic, did you hear about the news where they're saying sorry to Tottenham? Honestly, check out my stream with Adam Newson yesterday. I had him on. Adam Newson's the Chelsea reporter from Football London, and I was actually going to bring that topic up to him, and he straight away quashed that by saying that one of his mates, who's also a reporter, does all the reporting for Tottenham. He said this is not a true story at all. It's just a made up one. So there's no point into looking into that. I mean, we can talk about it hypothetically, but we'll just be talking up nonsense, to be honest. Taron, let's talk a little bit about Real Madrid, because obviously we got Real Madrid coming up next up in the Champions League. I watched that match this morning, my time, late for you guys in UK. I felt like Real Madrid can be got as well. Look, no disrespect, their defensive shape, their structure, the way they are so disciplined in every single one of their roles. Like Zidane has got it to the T, much like Thomas Tuchel as well, the way we set up. But I feel like where Liverpool missed the trick was they did not counter-press well. I felt like whenever they lost the ball, Liverpool was very quick to press and get them in the counter. Sometimes when Liverpool would try and pass it off the back, they press them well and win the ball up, high up. I feel like our team, probably will have more of the ball, I reckon, because Real Madrid's probably a little bit more happier to play without the ball and hit on the counter. But if we can box them the way we counter press and really box them in there, much like probably Atletico Madrid, the way we played them, I think we can get them. But what's your assessment? Because they do have some big-time game players there, bro. There's Toni Kroos, Modric, Casemiro, Benzema, and obviously they're going to have the likes of Varane back in the back line. I'm not really sure whether Hazard's going to be back. I don't think he's going to be fit enough to come back. But what's your thoughts about Real Madrid, my man?
Yeah, I watched that whole game yesterday with Real Madrid and Liverpool. It was a really interesting game. The main factor that I took out of it, I took 3 main points of weakness of Real Madrid. One is a right-back position for Real Madrid. Carvajal's injured. They don't have a right, but they played Federico Valverde yesterday. Opened up a lot of chances for Salah and Mane to score. And it's a really exploitable area for Pulisic to exploit, Hudson-Odoi to exploit, Werner to exploit, whoever's playing their Mount even to exploit. But Real Madrid, the thing that I like about Real Madrid is that they have a really good defensive structure, and I like the way they play. They tend to counter-attack quite a lot with Vinicius Jr. on the counter. We saw the one ball. They just passed to Kroos in the first leg. Launched over the top. Vinicius was in. He has a quality score. Benzema's a very good hold-up player. And they have the experience in this team to carry them through. I know Ronaldo is in the team, and he was a main factor in them winning back-to-back Champions Leagues, but Modric is a big game player. He's, the best player at the 2018 World Cup. They obviously have Toni Kroos, who can change a game just by his passing, his experience. They also have Casemiro, who I want to talk about. Casemiro, I was not quite sure about Casemiro. I was not sure if he still had it. Him and Fabinho had quite a battle yesterday. Fabinho, a Brazilian CDM for Liverpool, in the hold of the diamond. They have Casemiro, who's playing the same position. Casemiro was absolutely destroyed yesterday at midfield. Every attack that Liverpool had, Casemiro would stop it and recycle possession for Modric and Kroos. He was unbelievably good. And if he's there, he can easily prevent Mount from getting into the game. He can easily prevent Pulisic from turning on the half-time winning fouls. Casemiro is a big, big game player. He's a player that Chelsea really need to keep an eye on and really need to find good tactics to get around and keep him out of the game. But yeah, Real Madrid, I feel like they had Militao and obviously Nacho Fernandes, a centre-back. They'll have Varane and they'll have Ramos back for the Chelsea legs. That's confirmed. The 27th and 28th of April could be the game. That's going to be a big addition. Ramos, when he's in the team, he influences the whole team with his experience. He tells the defenders where to be, when to be. He won't let 4 shots on target yesterday. Salah had clear chances to shoot. Nacho and Militao stopped it. Ramos will not let that happen against Chelsea. And we need to be clinical when we have them chance. We've seen Chelsea games this season where we've had so many chances. We've not been clinical. It's wasted it. Obviously, in the game against Porto, we had Mount opening chance. Pulisic had that amazing ball from Ziyech he missed. We need to take the chance against Real Madrid. But you can't take it away from them. They're a great team. It's going to be a really difficult fixture. And they have some great players. But I do think we can beat them. I'm not going to lie. I think our tactics are built for knockout football. And we can soak up pressure and hit them on the counter with Pulisic and Mount.
Now, for sure. Omar, thank you so much for this comment. Miz, I don't understand why you think solely counter-pressing will win us the game. Firstly, Liverpool introduced counter-pressing to the Premier League and they couldn't do it. Real's technical security is too much. First of all, Omar, not for a second do I think solely we're going to win through counter-pressing. I'm just saying that that's something we probably could do better than Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool introduced it in the Premier League in the likes of Jurgen Klopp with the gegenpressing, but that doesn't mean that they're doing it well at the moment. I don't think Liverpool are doing that pressing. And I really think it's because not having Jordan Henderson. Well, a lot of people laugh about Jordan Henderson, but I feel like Jordan Henderson in that midfield was a massive, loss for Liverpool. Obviously, the likes of Van Dijk not being in defense, it creates a lot of issues. And even the likes of, Joe Gomez and Matip, these guys are big-time players for them in defense. But Jordan Henderson is one I feel like he runs 100 kilometers an hour. There was that stat, I know it was a couple of seasons ago now, but that Barcelona comeback there where they came back from, 3-1, 4-1, something like that, 4-0? What was it?
3-0. 3-0.
3-0. There was a stat, I remember in the second leg where Liverpool ran almost 2 or 1 player more than Barcelona. So they outran them so literally Liverpool had about 13 players on the field. That's how much they ran. So yeah, Omar, by no means I'm saying that our counter-pressing will solely take us over. I'm just saying that maybe we can do that better. Look, and this is something we need to talk about a little bit. Let's go to Arvind on this one. I feel like the whole matchup between Real Madrid, Arvind, is... Look, as Chelsea fans, we've got to be hopeful, right? We have to be hopeful now. We're in semi-finals. If we're not hopeful now, we might as well just give up. When you're in the semi-finals, you need to believe that you're going to go to the finals because this is it. Four teams. And I feel like when you look at the squads, Arvind, if you look at PSG, Man City, Chelsea, and Real Madrid, we don't have a bad squad, my man. We have a very deep and very good squad, to be honest. Our only issue is we haven't been clinical up front. That's the issue. Like other teams like Real Madrid, if they get a few chances, they're going to get it. They're going to score those chances, right? One good thing about us, luckily, is we don't give away too many big chances. Besides that West Brom, we're going to forget about that anomaly. We don't really give away big chances, right? But our issue is we don't put them away. What do you think about our chances against Real Madrid? Talk a little bit about Real Madrid and obviously a little bit about us as well.
Obviously, like you said, Miss, Chelsea's squad depth is ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, if I compare it to, a team like Bayern's, Chelsea are miles apart, in terms of squad depth. But, but regardless of that, I think Chelsea will always have a good chance of making it to the final, especially against Real Madrid. Obviously, we know that the midfield, especially if you put pressure on Kroos and Modric, that they don't, at the age they are sometimes. I've seen the last 2 seasons as well. When Madrid weren't exactly at their best, you can put pressure on them, you can win the ball back from them. That defense, if Ramos, Varane, people talk about, they are world class, but sometimes they do have little lapses of concentration. Ramos always has that red card within him. Varane had that awful game against Manchester City. Obviously, that was just one game, but, I can think of a host of mistakes that he's made over his career, that I've watched him and, he's been a bit suspect at times. So, Chelsea are going to need luck on their side. I feel like, most teams at this stage of the competition, need luck. You need that little bit of luck to, get them to the final. So, if it's meant to be for Chelsea, they will get that luck. And, not just that, obviously, you mentioned the counter press. Yes, Real Madrid, when they were playing against Liverpool, when Liverpool were losing the ball, they weren't exactly pressing them, which allowed Real Madrid the chances to, when Liverpool were out of position, they didn't really, bust the gut to get back into position. Like I saw Alexander-Arnold, Robertson as well. When we were bombarding forward, I didn't really see them bombarding back as they would do. The high energy, high Liverpool, high pressing team that we associate with Liverpool, high working. And they didn't really do that. I didn't really see much in terms of pressing from Liverpool. They allowed the likes of Kroos and Modric too much time on the ball. And that's why we saw, in the first leg, Kroos played that long over the top ball. If this was the Liverpool of 2 years ago, that wouldn't have happened because he would have been closed down within like a second. So
exactly.
Regardless of that, I just think that, especially with Madrid's midfield, Kroos, Modric and Casemiro, I feel like they've been very disrespected, over the past 2 years. They've been saying, oh yeah, the only reason why Real Madrid won this and that is because of Cristiano Ronaldo. It's not, because it's certain key cogs of the team where, you get that experience, and now we're seeing that experience again from Kroos, Modric and Casemiro. And I feel like, Liverpool especially, thinking that they can pop a physical midfield. It's not just all about physicality, because Kroos, Modric and Casemiro, especially when I watched a bit of the Liverpool-Madrid game yesterday, they were just playing through Liverpool, certain situations where they're under pressure at the back. They were easy, playing
and you know what, Irving? People, and this is no disrespect, like I completely understand Real Madrid were fantastic over the 2 legs. Obviously, they were, they put away Liverpool. But we need to also understand that this isn't the strongest Liverpool, and this is definitely not the Liverpool that we've been seeing a couple of seasons. This has been a very much an injury-plagued Liverpool that have struggled this season. This is not the Liverpool that we saw last season or the season before. So, we need to weigh that up as well, right?
Yeah, well, obviously 100%. But I think, still, Liverpool to get to the stage, Leipzig, they put them away comfortably. They didn't really, there was only maybe one moment where they, Leipzig really piled pressure on Liverpool. And that's the only thing that I can remember. So Liverpool to get to the stage, especially with the injuries that they have, is good for them. Obviously they'll want to go again next season. Whether they'll get Champions League next season is a huge if, because obviously, you got West Ham, Chelsea, Leicester find those spaces, Leicester being dragged back into the top 4 race. So,
yeah.
Regardless of that, I think, especially looking at this tie, I think Chelsea have the, if they set up right, they can beat Madrid in terms of, Chelsea's midfield can also play, passing, really good passing play. I think Chelsea's midfield is a bit better passing than Liverpool's midfield. That's just my opinion, because I think Liverpool's midfield, especially with the way they set up, I think, Gini, Wijnaldum, Milner, and who was I can't remember the other one. I think it was Fabinho. They're mainly set up to basically plug the gaps in between where Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson will leave the spaces just to just to solidify that midfield and the defense. Especially because they don't want to get counter-attacked either. I think Chelsea's midfield, especially with Kovacic and Jorginho, like I've seen, they can pass, and they're quite physical. We've seen in Tuchel's system, and they're very compact. Yeah. So I think, especially if Chelsea can keep it compact, and if they don't allow the likes of Kroos and Modric, Casemiro to be able to play it through the lines of Benzema, Vinicius, or if Asensio's playing Asensio, and Chelsea really plug that gap, it stops Real Madrid from creating chances. And I think that could be, a key. Obviously, I don't think Chelsea will give away that many chances. I think Chelsea, they should really stick with the 5 at the back. I think that can work really well against Real Madrid.
No, for sure. Taron, I want to talk a little bit about that Porto game. I feel like this is a mad reference for us, because as what Vince said, that Porto game really showed that Chelsea really can be physical. We can be physical under Thomas Tuchel. Players like Pulisic can take a battering and still get up. Jorginho can lift up to a different level and be physical as well. How much, because this particular Porto really gave it to City as well. Although City won that first particular match in the group stage 3-1, but Porto was very much in that game. The second one, it was a 0-0. And Pep said that this team made it very difficult. It's not easy to play them. They play dirty. They play very, hardball football. Juventus found them very difficult. How much do you reckon that particular match would have benefited us moving into a match like Real Madrid that, hey, we could match physically up against? I feel like Porto probably as physical as it gets in the Champions League at the moment. I can't really see if there's any other team that are as physical as them. How much do you think that match was probably benefited us?
Well, main criticism I've had over this Chelsea side, this group of players over the years, was that when it comes to the difficult times, physical battles with low block teams, difficult games in the Champions League, we seem to be a bit passive at times, let them dominate us, because we're a football playing team. if you have a physical and football playing team, it's a huge benefit in the long term. That Porto game, they were set out by Conceição to be dirty, to foul Pulisic, 33,000 in the game, not just a Pulisic, 33,000 total. They were absolutely going out as 100%. Jorginho and Kovacic, Jorginho was really up for in that game. That was the game, the first time I've seen him properly, every tackle that came in, he was going in 100%, not losing 50-50s, being really strong, the Italian gladiator that we know he can be. The whole defense, Rudiger, Silva, and Aspi, how many crosses are coming to the box from Marega, who's a really big physical striker? They were stopping every single one. They weren't letting them dominate the game. Porto came out and were trying to stop us from playing our game, which ultimately stopped them from playing their kind of football. But we were really up for it in the end, and that's really important in the long run. We can go against any team. We've come against Atletico Madrid, Simeone's dark art team. They have Koke, they have Saúl Ñíguez, they have Hermoso, they have obviously the other players in the team, Oblak. They have a really, really physical side that will not let you get into the game. We deal with them. We beat them 3-0 in aggregate. We come against Porto, who are arguably the other dark arts team in the competition. They're going out of the game to try and prevent us from playing, and we've dealt with them. In the Premier League, we've beat Burnley again, who are a team who will come out, be physical, try and prevent us from playing. We beat them 2-0. Newcastle, another team, we beat them 2-0. Sorry, and Crystal Palace again could be another team of physical. Gary Cahill, Chiarte, centre back. Hodgson sets them up to be really defensively solid, beat them 4-1. So I'm not seeing any other teams right now who can physically match us. We have a really physical side. Pulisic, I saw a big improvement from him against Porto. Maybe some games I've said before where he's been a bit passive. He's not trying to win the fouls like Eden Hazard, but every single foul that was coming, he was taking it on the chest, getting straight back up and going at it again. That's what I really like from this team. So any other teams, Man City, they are physical. If they're trying to be physical with us, we'll be physical back. There's not many other teams who I'm scared of now physically with this Chelsea team. It was a big step for me to see these players get into a really big physical battle and come out winning in the end. We dealt with them. One goal from Taremi is not going to change it. We dominated them defensively. We've shown that. Go on, miss.
I was just going to say, we've got some beasts of our own. Do you know what I mean? We've got Rudiger. Azpilicueta, as Tuchel say, you don't want to get into a fight with Azpilicueta either. We've got Silva. We've got Kante in the middle. Jorginho shows fight. Kovacic, he's a warrior. So, and Mason Mount. Let's not forget Mason Mount. He does not mind a fight either. Do you know what I mean? So we don't really need to worry about physically at the moment. I feel like our team is up for it. Pulisic showed the battering he can take, man. Honestly, how he's still alive is like, it's beyond me. So thoughts a little bit about that, Taron, in regards to that we've got the team to do it.
Yeah, I think you forgot to mention Reece James is arguably one of the most physical players. This guy's 21 years old, man. He's 21 years old. His body's probably not even fully developed. I can't say much. I'm 17, but his body's not even fully developed. He's going around battering every player. We saw Otavio try and push him once into the game, and he literally, Reece James, in front of the referee, just barged him over, and it wasn't even a foul. Reece James is a player who's completely physical. If we need to be defensive, we'll bring on Reece James, and he will just deal with any winger who's on that side physically. We saw last season Zaha against Crystal Palace couldn't get into the game. Do you not remember? Chelsea Crystal Palace 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. Zaha was completely dragged out of the game by Reece James. Rudiger, a player who is, he's leading our physical battle at the minute. Every single tackle that comes in, he'll leave afters. He'll let the player know that if you come at me again, I'm going to push you over. I'm going to say stuff to you. You're not going to get past me, mate. As for Azpilicueta, every time he zooms in on his face, he's always up for the battle. He's never smiling. He's like, I'm in game mode. I'm serious. I'm not letting anyone get past me. Kovacic, he's been a player in the team for years. I've seen who, he will run the whole game.
He's gonna buzz playing Real Madrid. He's gonna buzz.
He's gonna love it. He's gonna love it. He couldn't get past Cruz, Valverde, Modric before. He's gonna prove that he is worth it. He could get into this Real Madrid team right now. I'm gonna say that he could replace some of these players. He has the ability. Kovacic is a really physical player. But physicality is not everything in the game. I've said, but the thing is, this Chelsea team can play football. We're not just a low block team who'll be physical. We can play football. We can play nice football. We can ping the ball around, but also when it comes to difficult moments, we have the players who can dominate the game. So it's a nice balance. Like I said, the attack at the minute is not the best. The chemistry is still not there, but apart from that, we're basically there. We're coming into a really strong monster team at the minute under Tuchel. I'm really loving it, and we have the players to deal with any physical battle. To answer the question.
No, for sure, man. Arvind, let's talk a little bit about some of the matchups that we can expect before we can sort of explore whether it is realistic that Chelsea can go all the way and emulate that situation from 2012. Real Madrid's front three at the moment, look, I honestly don't think Hazard will be ready. I don't know. A lot of people are saying that maybe, it's the homecoming. Everyone's getting all sentimental. I just want to shout, first of all, almost 50 people live. Smash that like button and check out all my panelists, socials in the description. Go out there and follow them. I want to have a message to all the live chat. Look, there's no time for sentiments. There is absolutely no time for sentiments here. If Hazard's fit and he's coming back, whoop-de-doo. He's playing for Real Madrid right now. We all need to remember, if Hazard is starting, he is going to do his level best to ensure that Real Madrid goes into the final. He's not going to care one bit about Chelsea. He's there to play for Real Madrid. That's the badge that he wears right now. That's the jersey that he wears right now. So think a little bit about that before you start getting sentimental about, Hazard coming back, because he's only coming back to take Real Madrid to the final. So think a little bit about that. But Arvind, I don't personally think Hazard will be ready for that first leg. I don't know whether he may be ready for the second leg, but first leg, I don't think he may be ready. But when you look at that Real Madrid front line with Benzema, Vinicius, and probably Asensio or maybe Lucas Vazquez, I don't know about you, man. I'm not really scared here. Do you know what I mean? Like Benzema, don't get me wrong. Like the man is phenomenal. Man has been unbelievable for Real Madrid. He's scored some amazing goals. He's got great movement, great link up, great pace, all of that. But when you put the whole front three together up against Rudiger or either Thiago Silva or Christensen and Azpilicueta with Reece James and Chilwell, and also the double sixes, because we generally defend with 5, we attack with 5. I don't know, man. Do you feel like that's a front three that's scary for our defense, that it's been watertight generally? Once again, take away that West Brom game, because that was a total anomaly. Even that Taremi goal, Arvind, you can't do anything about that. That's a wonder strike. Do you know what I mean? You cannot do anything about that. What do you think about that matchup between the Real Madrid front three and our defense?
Yeah, it's interesting, to be honest, because obviously, we didn't really associate Benzema to be that type of player that will really, drag Madrid out the mud. I don't really associate him with that type of player. I always thought, he liked to take the backstage a little bit, especially when Ronaldo was there, maybe score a couple of goals here and there, but he's really proven to be, that key player that has, delivered the goals for Real Madrid. So, credit to him. Obviously Chelsea are going to have to be wary of him, especially with the 3 at the back. Obviously, I don't think there's that much worry in terms of the front three, because obviously, we've seen Reece James. I think he's brilliant defensively. I always thought he's brilliant defensively. I even think that he could potentially play right centre back at some point in his career. But that's just that's for another live stream. But anyway, obviously Chilwell on the left hand side. He's shown that with his pace as well, he can counter Vinicius as well. More Vinicius will be on the left hand side, so he'll probably be on Reece James' side. So Asensio as well. So Asensio, especially he had a massive injury. I think he was out for a year, and before that injury, he was absolutely superb. I mean, I was seeing like most games where he was scoring from outside the box. He had a wonder of the left foot. He scored 2 outside the box goals against Barcelona. He's superb from long shots.
I think the last time Real Madrid won the Champions League, I know Cristiano was amazing and he was the focal point. I think Asensio had a mad part in that particular season where he was
he scored the win. He scored the win against Bayern in the first leg of the semi-final at the Allianz. So.
You would remember.
Yeah, but I still remember that. That was a terrible mistake from our defender. But Asensio, he's a quality player. If you give him the time and space, he will whack it into the top corner. But especially with Vinicius as well, we saw in the first leg, his pace, when he gets in behind the defenders, he can score the goals. The second goal was a bit questionable in Alisson. I don't think Mendy would make the same mistake. So again, it's really just about comparing Liverpool and Chelsea to what Liverpool didn't do and what Chelsea can do when when the time comes, obviously, when Chelsea play. Because I think Chelsea have really got to analyse, what Liverpool did and what they did wrong, because especially we talked about the press and we talked about giving their front men giving the front men of Real Madrid too much time and too much time to make runs in behind. Kroos, Modric and Casemiro are picking past that for fun. So again, Benzema, Asensio, Vinicius, I feel like it's quite an unorthodox front three. I haven't really seen Zidane play that front three ever. I feel like Rodrigo's been better than Vinicius, especially this season. But Vinicius is obviously, after his injury, he had a massive injury as well. And after his injury, he's finding his form again. So especially, Rodrigo coming off the bench, it's dangerous. And for Chelsea, obviously they're going to have to keep it tight. If they can keep it tight, I don't think you're going to have to worry, as you've done previous big games. But again, Zidane always has that knack of knowing how to get through these type of games, especially against, I watched them against Bayern, we were the better team, but they just went through because they took their chances. Even with we saw PSG do that. We were the better team. PSG just took their chances, and that's what Zidane does. He finds a way to win, and I feel like Chelsea Chelsea need luck on their side a little bit, but they also need to stay compact.
Now, 100% agree. This is why I said, Arvind, that the one thing about Real Madrid, if they get a chance up front, they'll put it away. They're clinical like that. They know they've got the experience in this level massively, and we as a club have an experience, but obviously not at the stature of Real Madrid. But we've got a lot of youngsters who have not been in this particular stage before, Champions League semi-finals. The likes of Mason Mount, Reece James, Ben Chilwell. Who else? I don't even. Well, yeah, Timo Werner was in the semi-finals last season, wasn't he?
He didn't play. He was.
No, he didn't play. He played.
Oh yeah, he didn't
played
play. He didn't play
against Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. He played. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's quite a lot of players from our side. Kai Havertz is another one. Hasn't experienced Champions League semi-finals yet. So from that perspective, the inexperience shows, and that's where the Real Madrid has that edge above us, that experience. But I want to bring this particular comment out from Advaid. Advaid, shout out to Advaid. Boys, when we do our show for the preview, Advaid is a Real Madrid fan, so we're going to have Advaid on for the preview because he's going to give us a lot of insight. I should actually had him on today. I don't know why I didn't think about that, but Advaid, shout out to you for making it into the stream. We'll catch up with you because you're definitely going to be part of the preview, that's for sure. The boys are going to be here. It's going to be an epic preview, and you're going to be our Real Madrid man. For sure. Hazard is set to make the squad this week in the league. Might be fit for Chelsea. Vasquez is out injured though. Ooh, man, if Eden Hazard comes in, we know he's going to be on the left side, and that'll be the right side for Reece James, right? Yeah. So Hazard. So Reece James, I'm very confident that Reece James will have his number. I'm not worried about that. Taron, let's talk a little bit about that midfield battle before we sort of get into the other sides of this particular stream. Cruz, Casemiro, Modric, we've got Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic, obviously Mason Mount comes deep into midfield as well. And then, Chilwell and Reece James, they help out, build up from the midfield too. How do you see that? Do you feel like our boys have a bit more legs over them in terms of those guys are a little bit aging, but they are smart. As I said, the experience is there. But do you feel like we should be, as what Arvind said, we should be able to do all the things that Liverpool probably weren't able to do in midfield, but our boys should be able to do that?
Yeah, the point by Arvind was really crucial and a really important point. That if you can press him and stop Cruz from making that pass of initiative, stop Casemiro from, controlling the play from the middle, stop Modric from, buzzing around as he still does. I actually think Modric is a bit of an anomaly in that kind of three. Modric is a player who'll run the whole game. Even at the age of 35, I was watching him last night, he did not stop running. He outrun Wijnaldum so many times. He outrun James Milner. And Wijnaldum is one player who, he has a lot of stamina, a lot of fitness. He's still quite young. And Modric absolutely had his number at so many occasions. So Modric is an anomaly. But yeah, I do think our midfield could have the number in the fitness side of things, maybe not technically, but we have Kovacic, a player who can run for the whole game. If you put him in 8 games in a row, he'd probably run the whole time. We have Kante, who if we manage him before and rest him the game before, I'm not sure who we're playing. I believe it is, I'm not quite sure who we're playing before the Real Madrid game, but if we do rest him before.
Brighton, bro. I'm pretty sure it's Brighton.
I think we're playing Brighton next Tuesday, so I'm not sure it's Brighton. But yeah, if you do rest Kante, he will run the whole game.
West Ham. Yeah. I think it's West Ham.
Maybe West Ham. Yeah, it is West Ham, actually. You're right, yeah. If you rest Kante before, he can outrun Cruz, Modric, and if you press him high, he can stop the game. Kante can easily outrun that midfield, any day of the week, 100%. Jorginho is going to be quite interesting. He's a technical player. He's not known for his stamina, but if we do press him high, he can still control the game from behind them, Kovacic and Kante. But yeah, the midfield battle is going to be quite interesting. I'm excited to see what happens. I say the midfield is probably the strongest part of Real Madrid's team. They have a lot of Champions League pedigree experience. Casemiro, who I've already mentioned, I could say praise about him all day. Yesterday, that performance, if he wasn't playing and Valverde was playing in the CDM role or someone else was playing there, they wouldn't have won the game. Casemiro is so crucial. It's interesting to see how Mason Mount is going to kind of deal with that. If he can kind of drop in the half space around him, dominate the play.
You know what, Taron? Just quickly, what Arvind said not that long ago, that if that midfield, we've seen them buckle. Like if you press well and you press as a unit, and if you do it well, we can buckle them. Do you feel like Tuchel will be aware of that we cannot just let them just have the ball and just do whatever you want to do, because they'll just carve out passes left, right, and center. But if we keep them under the pressure, I think we can get them.
Yeah, Tuchel's a manager who goes into game by game, analyze the manager's tactics, sees what they're going to do, and bases his team lineups. We've seen, he started Mason Mount and obviously play Mason Mount on the left against Porto to kind of break down Porto's right side of Jesus Corona. That's what he kind of does. He bases game by game. He's 100% going to know. He's going to do his homework before and see that if we let this midfield control the game, they're going to destroy you. That's the mistake that Liverpool made. I'm not sure why Jurgen Klopp did not pick up on that, even after the first leg. They did tighten up a little bit, but they still let Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro too much respect. I'm not sure why they did that. Tuchel will know before. Well, hopefully he knows before what's going to happen. And we've seen that many occasions. He has done that. The Liverpool game, he set out Werner to play up front to deal with the high line of Liverpool. A really smart move. We saw that Atletico game. He played Havertz, Werner, and Ziyech to counter-attack Atletico, who were going to press high. We've seen many occasions where Tuchel has proved himself as a world-class manager. I've said a lot of times in this channel that every game, when he brings his lineup up, it's always for some reason. He builds the lineups game by game. Whoever he's playing against, he'll base it about the opposition, their tactics, everything like that. So, I feel like he will probably start Kante in that game against Real Madrid to deal with to press high in midfield, not let them have any time. Kante is a player who will intercept really high up, will counter press effectively. He can stop Kroos from getting into the game if he does man mark him. Kovacic is a player who can win the ball high up and then drive with his, his really good ball carrying ability. I don't think should have done that game. I think Kovacic and Kante will be very important in that game. But the midfield battle is going to be important. Hopefully Tuchel can pick up on that. I mean, if we're not world class managers and we're picking up on it, then hopefully Tuchel can pick up on that.
No, for sure. I'm pretty sure Tuchel will pick up on that.
Yeah.
I think let's talk a little bit about the front three that we have and the defense that they have. I must say, with Sergio Ramos back, Sergio Ramos is probably one of the dirtiest defender you can ever imagine. And there's not that many players that I dislike. Like Eric Dyer is one that I absolutely dislike. I don't like him one bit. Tottenham player Eric Dyer. Sergio Ramos is another one. I think it's in a different sense though. Eric Dyer, I think, is an absolute rubbish of a defender. But Sergio Ramos is a very, very good defender. But I dislike him. He's so dirty, man. I've seen so many El Clasicos where he's been dirty. Even though, look, I've always been a Cristiano Ronaldo man, so I've always sort of followed Real Madrid a little bit more. It's not like I like either one of them. I really could care less about Real Madrid or Barcelona, but because I was more of a Ronaldo fan, I followed Real Madrid. But I couldn't stand Ramos, man. Ramos for me was a dirty dog, man. Do you feel like, let's say if we say our best front three in most cases is Havertz, Pulisic, and Mason Mount, do you feel like those front three could really trouble Real Madrid's backline with Ramos, Varane? I think Carvajal is probably not going to be fit. They have Mendy in the left back. Who plays there right back? I can't remember who plays right back.
Valverde played there yesterday
Valverde.
Because Vasquez is injured for the season, so Valverde might have to start that game.
So do you reckon, Arvind, our front three, and even if you look at the depth that we have with Werner, Ziyech, Callum Hudson-Odoi, we can pose a bit of a damage on these defenders?
100%, like I mentioned, Ramos, he always has that odd red card in him. And, Varane, especially with the lapses of concentration that I've seen from him, highlighting to one game against Manchester City, he gave the ball away against, I think it was Jesus, for the Sterling goal. And then he back passed straight to Jesus and he scored, for the 2-1. So, again, lapses of concentration. I think that right back spot is key because Valverde playing there yesterday, I wasn't really totally convinced. Obviously, he's a midfielder coming into right back. It's never easy. We can understand that. It's a totally different role. Vasquez being out for the season, if what Taron says is true, is crucial because, especially for Chelsea, because that'll be a side, from the left-hand side where Pulisic gets him where he can really exploit that. Valverde does have pace, but he doesn't really have the know-how of, being able to, position himself correctly to deal with these fast-paced players. We saw that against Mane as well. I think Mane skimmed him a couple of times. I've seen it, especially in the highlights. If you've seen Mane skim him a couple of times, that's just one situation where he just wasn't dealing with, his experience is just not good enough in that position. So right back for Madrid is an issue. Even Vasquez isn't even a right back because he's played right wing for his main position is right wing for Real Madrid. But again, the left hand side obviously with Mendy, he's been really good. Coming in. I think he was a signing from last season who didn't really deliver, and I've had this season. He's dropping Marcelo is a huge step for him to really ingrain that left back spot for Real Madrid. So I feel like Mendy, he's really made that position his own, and especially with his pace and his power, I do feel like that's one of the sides which could definitely be shut down, I think. But then again, with Chelsea's rotation play with Havertz, Pulisic, and I think it's Mount, up front as a front three, I feel like rotation can really be a threat to this Real Madrid team. We saw in the second leg, I think, last night against Liverpool. Salah, Firmino, Mane, they were getting up in good positions. I think Firmino had time where he had three options and then he just passed it straight to the defender. He's just not in good form right now. But imagine if it was someone like Mount or Havertz or Pulisic or maybe not Timo Werner, but someone creative, of Chelsea in that role in good form coming in would pick out that pass and would pick out the goal. And sometimes I saw that Madrid's midfield was really separated from the defense, and there was times where there was so much space within the midfield. So again, that's one thing to be exploited. But in terms of the front three, I feel like rotation play is something that Madrid haven't really had to deal with. Obviously, Liverpool have a set front three of Firmino, Mane, Salah. They all know their positions, but Havertz, as we know, I know him from Leverkusen. His rotation play is excellent. Pulisic as well. He likes to drift from the left hand side, maybe the right. And Mount, obviously, he's everywhere around the pitch. Really, when I watch him play, he can sometimes be a centre back or he can sometimes be up front. So for that, I think. I don't really know where Timo Werner comes into this. I don't really know whether this is your best front three. If it is, it's perfect for this Real Madrid game.
No, for sure, man, for sure. Look, whatever it is, it's going to be a tasty blockbuster matchup from both sides. PSG, Man City, Real Madrid, Chelsea. It's going to be a blockbuster semi-final from both the sides. Let's get some final thoughts on both the tie and really try and work out who really could progress all the way and get this big dog of a trophy. I'll go to you first of all, Taron. PSG, Man City. How does it sort of pan out for you from that particular tie, and then Chelsea, Real Madrid? Who are what's your final basically?
Oh my God, you've thrown me under the bus here. The final. you want me to predict the winners of both legs and say, there's always debates about who can go through, who can't go through. But I think Pochettino is a very good manager. I'm not going to put anything against him. Whether he's made as we like to say, holistic view of PSG now, obviously made quite even, not individuals anymore. I think Man City could win that game, even though they were there for the taking against Dortmund. I feel like they will win. If you can stop Mbappe and Neymar on the counter, then you can win the game. So, I'm going to say Man City will go through to the final. And, I have to, you're not a real fan if you don't back your club. I'm backing Chelsea to beat Real Madrid 100%. We can win that game. This isn't the Real Madrid of the past. This isn't the Real Madrid of 2016, 2017, 2018, winning back-to-back. Even though they won a Liga last year without Ronaldo, Barcelona were poor last season with their manager. But now with Ronald Koeman as well, it doesn't matter. But I'm saying Chelsea versus Man City final, which... thinking about that is a really tasty final.
Wow.
And now I'm thinking of that. I'm actually really not confident to play Man City. We'll see on Saturday, won't we? We'll see what will happen. We're playing them on Saturday. That's probably Tuchel's biggest test so far, say, playing against Guardiola's Man City side in the semis. We'll see if we can beat them. Yeah, it's raining the stars, PSG. Pochettino against his old club. Obviously, Tuchel against his old club. All these old players coming up against each other in the game. So that's going to be a big game. I'd say, PSG Chelsea sounds like a better, more attractive final, obviously, with the old managers. But I say Man City will go through. They have Ruben Diaz in defence. They have De Bruyne, Foden. They have Mahrez, who's obviously a really good player. They have Sterling, who's not performed. They have Aguero, who can play that. But their system is so good tactically. They can just transition fluidly in the attack. All the players playing different positions the whole game, always changing positions. Yeah, I'd say Man City are probably going to go through. We've already discussed Real Madrid and Chelsea, who's more likely to go through. I'd say if you can press them up high, you can stop them from coming at you. I'd say Real Madrid's front three does have the best chemistry, Vinicius, Benzema, and Asensio. If you can just put Asensio on his right foot, he's instantly out of the game. Benzema, imagine Rudiger against Benzema. That's going to be, he's already dominated Suarez, he's dominated Marega, he's dominated a lot of big strikers. So I'd say Rudiger can take Benzema. Obviously, with Vinicius Jr., he is a good player, but I wouldn't say he's one of the best wingers in the world that can, stop Reece James from dominating him. Reece James can give Vinicius a game. Hopefully, it isn't Eden Hazard at this stage, but yeah, I'd say Chelsea City is probably the most likely final. But then in the final, who am I backing to win? That's the question. I'm not going to say now. We'll keep that to a bit later, but I'd say Chelsea City is the more likely final.
Now, for sure, man. Tyrone, he is banging the messages, the comments. Tyrone, I'm loving it. If Chelsea wins against Real Madrid, then they are winning it, man. I feel like, man, if we make it to the final, I think that's it, bro. We're doing this. We are absolutely doing it. No disrespect to the opposition, obviously City or PSG, as Arvind and Taron both have said, they're formidable oppositions, and they've all got their own ambitions as well. They've all got their own desires. PSG, they badly want to win this. They badly want to win this. They've been trying to win this for many years now. Obviously, last season, so close. And players like Neymar and Mbappe, they were absolutely shattered. And Man City, we know, Pep, this is the one they want. This is the one the sheikhs of Dubai, they want this one. Do you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it's the sheikhs of Abu Dhabi for PSG. So it's the two sheikhs
battle
of
the United Arab Emirates.
The United Arab Emirates clashing. It's going to be the Arab match, the battle of the Arabs over there.
The oil clubs.
The oil clubs, and then you throw in us as well, the Russian oil as well.
Yeah, let's forget about us. Yeah.
I mean, from your point of view, man, how do you see the both matchups, and who do you think will be the finalists?
I'll go to PSG and Man City first. I just think that, especially with the way City played, they'll fall right into the trap of PSG. We saw in the first leg, Bayern piled men forward. We created 31 chances. Yeah, we did. And whether, at this point, I think City had more quality than we did in that game because, obviously we had Lewandowski out, Serge Gnabry out, all these players, that are key to us. So I think City will create loads of chances, but I think, especially with Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, in my opinion, if they played the way they did against Bayern, there's no stopping them. That's just a simple fact. And Neymar on his day can absolutely tear apart defense on his own, really. And Mbappe, especially with his pace, if you back off, like Bayern did in the first leg, he will score. He doesn't have to go past the defender. I think the third goal, Bersen just gets him backing off, and he scored. Not even going past him. So I think PSG will get to the final, especially of last season's hurt. I think they'll have enough motivation to get to the final. City, just this experience, I don't think they have enough of it. How to get past these sort of mind battles. I think this is also mentally as well. I feel like City just not quite there in terms of experience. I feel like PSG are, and they will get to the final. Chelsea, Real Madrid. Wow. I'd like to say Real Madrid because obviously, they experience, they know how they've done it before. The players there, similar to 17, 18, 16, and 16 and 17 when they won the Champions League three times in a row. So Chelsea really is the team that I see that don't really have that much pressure on these. I saw a report where if Real Madrid don't win the Champions League, Zidane's gone. So and that's one report that I've seen. Yeah, the Florentino Perez. There was a report about that of a marker. I think they're really reliable. So if they don't win the Champions League, he's gone. I feel like same situation with City. They've been waiting 5 years for this. Under Pep, he's spent so much money. So I think he could potentially be gone if he doesn't win the Champions League. Pochettino, it'll be a failure again because PSG didn't win the Champions League last season. This season as well, the squad depth, the quality, I feel like it will be a failure. I don't think Chelsea necessarily would be that much of a failure if you were to go out from the semis, because obviously, you've had so much, managerial problems and stuff like that throughout the season, certain problems throughout the club. So, it would be that much. I feel like it'll be, even get to the semi-finals to Chelsea is just a success anyway, because nobody would have thought that if you had said that about 3 months ago, if you said that, at the start.
Reece James just came out recently and he said, if you told me this literally from the start of the season, he said that's madness. No way we get to the semi-finals of Champions League. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, Chelsea, they don't really have that much pressure as the other teams do. They've done really well getting to the stage, getting past the dogged Atletico team, then getting past the dogged Porto team. Slightly different Madrid. They're not as physical as either of the two sides. So we'll see what happens. But I think for Chelsea, it could potentially happen. That's all I'm saying. They could get to a final. If you look back to, obviously, you play the Portuguese team in the quarters, you play the Spanish team in the semi-final. So
it's repeating itself, man. But then there's no Bayern Munich, bro, in the finals. There's no German club in the finals.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be for us.
You guys ruined it for us.
Yeah, injuries are just, just wasn't meant to be. So, I'm a big guy, but, we move. There's always a next season. But anyway, yeah, so juicy ties coming up. I'm excited. I wanted Bayern City semi-final. I reckon that would have been extremely good, two informed sides in Europe coming in, playing. But I'll leave that one for next season. So, Man City, PSG, Chelsea, Madrid. I feel like PSG... I'm not going to say who the winner of Chelsea and Madrid. I feel like that one's too close to call, especially with Madrid's pressure and know-how. But then also, Chelsea's, you could say inexperience, but you could say, they don't really have as much pressure. I feel like they'll play with enjoyment. They'll relish the stages. Mason Mount at the age of 22, been in a Champions League semi-final. He's only been in the Champions League for 2 seasons. I mean, it's really good for him, to be honest. And yeah, I'm excited.
So from the City and PSG side, who are you going for? You're going for PSG?
Yeah, I said PSG.
PSG. Okay. All right. Look, you're on the fence with the Madrid and Chelsea. I completely understand. Personally, myself, I feel like we can do this, man. I'm just in a confident mood, man. I mean, I feel like as much as that loss against West Brom, it hurts. But I kind of had a feeling straight after the international break that, a few players traveling, this, that, the momentum kind of be broken. But the way we bounced back, everyone wanted to talk about, how's Tuchel's team going to bounce back from their first loss? And the way we bounced back was brilliant. So we carried that on. I'm very confident in the upcoming weekend against Man City in the FA Cup that we are probably going to do this team. Because They did us in January, so we're going to be wanting revenge. So I know our team is going to be up for that particular match, and they're going to do a level best to beat Man City in the FA Cup. And then I'm sure they'll have the focus. Obviously, the top 4 chase will be on, and I'm sure they'll be focused for that. But that Real Madrid game, man, some of these youngsters will be buzzing. Mason Mount, Reece James, Jermaine, Pulisic, Kai Havertz, like all of these players are going to be buzzing to play. Ben Chilwell, our defense. I just see ourselves going past Real Madrid and breaking their dominance in this particular competition.
Can I just add something?
Yeah, go on, bro.
Sorry. In between the Real Madrid ties, you also have Man City and Arsenal in the Premier League. And, that's going to be a huge test for Tuchel. I feel like, especially that period will, you can really understand, whether Tuchel will be, that long-term manager that Chelsea really been looking for. So I think, especially those 2 weeks will be, absolutely crucial, especially with the top 4 race and to get to the final.
Yeah, Arvind, we did that with Atletico, Liverpool, Man United. We had them 3 back
and
to
Everton.
Everton, a huge game. We won 3 out. We were unbeaten. We didn't concede a goal in them 4 games. But I see your point. That's going to be interesting. Yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, Taron, that particular phase was crazy, but this one's going to be epic, man. You got Real Madrid back to back, and you got City in the middle, and then you got Arsenal is one. We're better.
I want to absolutely destroy them. I'm not gonna lie. I want to wreck Arsenal. I want to send them back to the Championship, man. I want to destroy them.
We better spank them. That's all I'm gonna say. whatever
Yeah,
happens,
better, man.
we better spank them because I cannot forget
Yeah,
that loss that they gave us. I
That
cannot
was
forget
painful.
that. That was painful. That was the worst loss this season. So I
That
cannot
was
forget that.
absolute joke. Yeah.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much wraps us up. Hope you guys all had fun. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe. Help me get to the 4,000. I'm very, very close. Less than 30 subscribers away for 4,000 milestones. So help me get there. Smash the like button. Helps the channel out a lot. Helps the video out a lot. And also hit the bell notification so that you're always informed when anything is happening, whether I'm putting out a post in the community section, whether a live is coming up, so you're always aware what's going on. As I said, UK 1 p.m. is generally when I'm going to be on for the next few months coming up. And to my panelists, please, guys, check out their information, socials in the description. Taron's Perfect Hat-Trick podcast, the link is there. If you click on it, it will take you right there. Just listen to some of their stuff there, subscribe, whatever you need to do. Arvind is there with that particular podcast as well. And follow them in Twitter as well, guys. They're very, very lovely people in Twitter. So follow them there. And, oh, wow, look who we've got. We've got Matchday Vlogs, Southampton boys. Yeah, buddy. Southampton boys, honestly, I can't wait to talk to you guys again. It's been crazy from where you guys were in the table to where you guys now, but it is what it is. Premier League is a crazy, crazy, league. But, yeah, thank you for joining, guys. We are wrapping things up right now. But, yeah, guys, until next time, I'll probably have a preview ready for the Man City game tomorrow. Still trying to weigh up, who to bring in. I'm trying to get some Man City fans or a Man City journalist. Very difficult at the moment, but we may have something sorted out. Oh yeah, I just realised Southampton's in the FA Cup. They're still in the run for getting a silverware, and they've got Leicester, so it's very much winnable. So yeah, good luck to that for sure, man. But yeah, guys, until next time, everyone, take care. See ya.